Today I want to talk to you about something powerful that lives quietly inside all of us. The part of you that shapes your life through imagination, awareness, and the way you choose to feel. Neville Goddard was a teacher who lived in the 1900s, and he spent his life explaining one simple but powerful idea. He said that your imagination is not just pictures in your head. It is the creative force that shapes your life. He taught that the world outside of you is connected to what you assume and feel on the inside. Today, we will explore his message in a simple way so you can understand how your own awareness creates the path you walk every single day. Neville believed that every person has a hidden power living inside them. He said this power is the same power people call God, but it is not something far away. It is your own imagination. When you think something and truly feel it as if it is real, you are planting a seed. Over time, that seed grows into an experience in your life. He called this feeling is the secret, because emotion is what turns a thought into something strong enough to shape your world. Think of your mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. Some seeds grow fast, some grow slow. Some grow into flowers, and some grow into weeds. Neville said you do not always notice what you plant, but your life always shows you the garden that grew from your inner thoughts and feelings. When you want to change the garden, you do not fight the plants outside. You change the seeds you plant inside. Neville taught something called living in the end. This means imagining the result you want as if it is already done. If you want peace, you imagine yourself living a peaceful day. If you want love, you imagine the feeling of being deeply loved and safe. If you want success, you imagine the moment you already feel proud and steady. He said the mind does not argue. When you feel something is real inside, the world begins to shape itself around that feeling. He also said that awareness is the key. What you are aware of being, you become. If you keep saying, I am tired, I am unlucky, I am stuck, you are telling your inner self to stay in that place. But if you shift and say, I am calm, I am growing, I am learning, you begin guiding the world around you to match this new inner state. It may not change in one day, but the direction changes, and eventually the outside catches up with the inside. Neville's teachings help you understand something many people forget. You are not fighting life. You are shaping it. Life is not against you. It is responding to you. This does not mean you blame yourself for everything. It means you finally see how powerful your awareness really is, and you learn how to use it in a gentle and wise way. Imagine you are standing in front of a window that looks out onto your world. Neville said the window is your mind. If the glass is foggy with fear, doubt, or old beliefs, the world looks dark. But when you clear the glass by changing your inner state, the world becomes brighter, even if nothing outside changed yet. Awareness is the cloth that clears the glass. Imagination is the light behind it. Neville taught many people who came to him with problems. Some wanted health, some wanted money, some wanted love, some wanted purpose. He never told them to wait for luck or chance. He told them to go inside themselves and imagine the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He said imagination creates reality, and he meant it in a real and practical way. He did not mean you force the world to change. He meant you become the person who already has what you want, and the world adjusts to match that version of you. Let's explore this with simple examples. Imagine you feel alone. Instead of repeating the story of loneliness, you close your eyes and imagine someone hugging you or walking beside you or saying, I'm here for you. You feel warmth. You feel connection. If you keep practicing this inner feeling, you begin to act differently in the world. You smile more. You soften. You open your heart. Soon, new people enter your life. It didn't happen by chance. You changed inside first. Or imagine you want to start something new, a job, a project, a dream. Instead of thinking, I can't, you imagine the moment you are already doing it. You feel proud. You feel steady. You feel brave. This feeling helps you take the first small steps. These steps lead to new opportunities. Again, the outer world shifts because the inner world changed. Neville said everything begins with a state of being. A state is like a room inside you. When you feel angry, you are in the room of anger. When you feel calm, you are in the room of calm. When you feel hopeful, you are in the room of hope. And each room has a different world attached to it. The world you see is the world that matches the room you stand in. If you want a different world, you walk into a different inner room. He also said something many people find surprising. Creation is finished. This means all possibilities already exist. You do not make them appear. You simply choose which one you line up with through your imagination and feelings. It's like tuning a radio. Many stations exist at once, but you hear only the one you tune to. Your awareness is the knob. Your imagination is the signal. Your feeling is the volume. When you tune to a new inner station and feel it clearly, that becomes the world you experience next. Neville's teachings are not about pretending or forcing yourself to be happy. They are about becoming aware of what you are assuming inside without noticing. For example, if you always assume people will ignore you, you experience a world where you feel unseen. If you assume you are not good enough, you walk through life carrying that weight, and life reflects it back to you. But if you gently shift your awareness and say, I am worthy, I matter, I belong, you step into a new state. And from that new state, life begins to respond with different experiences. Think of a time you felt confident. Maybe you walked taller, or you spoke more freely. That inner state changed the way the world responded. Neville would say that you did not act confident because the world supported you. The world supported you because you were in the state of confidence. Inner first, outer second. Neville wanted people to understand that their imagination is not childish. It is a tool, a language, a bridge. When you imagine something lovingly and feel it as real, you send a message to the deeper part of you that already knows how to bring experiences together. Sometimes the path is surprising, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it feels natural. But always, according to Neville, the world lines up with the inner film you play the most. He also talked about revision. This means that if you had an experience you didn't like, you can go back in your mind and imagine it differently. For example, if someone hurt your feelings, you imagine the moment again but with kindness and understanding. You feel the new version. Neville said this can shift your inner state so deeply that future experiences with that person, or situations like it, begin to change. It may sound strange, but many people found it helped them heal old emotional pain. Now let's go deeper into the power of awareness. Awareness is simply noticing. But Neville said it is powerful because whatever you are aware of being, you become. If you keep saying, I am broken, your awareness is locked onto that idea. But if you shift and say, I am healing, your awareness moves to a new path. It's like turning your face toward the sun. You may still feel cold for a moment, but the warmth begins to find you. Awareness also helps you catch old habits of thinking. You might notice you talk to yourself in a way that keeps you small. You might notice you expect the worst. Neville would say, catch it, stop it gently, and replace it with a new assumption. Over time, the new assumption becomes natural, and your world changes to match it. Imagine someone who always expects things to fall apart. They live in that state. Because of that, they notice every small problem, and they react in fear. But another person expects things to work out. They move through the day with calm and trust. They notice opportunities instead of danger. Neville believed your state shapes your perception, and your perception shapes your life. Change the state, and the whole world shifts. Let's explore a practice inspired by Neville's teachings. Think of something you want, something simple for now. It could be peace, a good talk with someone you care about, or success in a small task. Close your eyes. Imagine the moment after it already happened. Feel what that version of you feels like. Relax into that feeling. Smile a little. Breathe into it. You don't need to force anything. Just let the feeling settle inside you like a warm light. Neville said this simple act, done with feeling, is enough to begin shaping your future. Another practice is noticing your reactions. When something happens that you don't like, instead of falling into old habits, pause for a moment. Take one breath and ask yourself, what state am I in right now? If it's fear or anger, gently shift your attention. Imagine how you would feel if everything worked out. Step into that state, then act from that place. This small shift can change the entire direction of your day. Neville's message was always hopeful. He wanted people to know they are not trapped by their past. They are not stuck in old stories. They can awaken to their own creative power. They can choose their inner state. They can imagine new endings. They can feel new beginnings. They can guide their awareness like a compass pointing toward a better version of their life. You do not need perfect focus. You do not need special skills. You only need to understand that your inner world matters. Your imagination is not random. It is a doorway. Your feelings are not weak. They are signals. Your awareness is not small. It is the center of your life. Neville Goddard gave people a simple map. Imagine, feel, assume, and trust. When you use your imagination with love and clarity, when you feel the truth of your wish fulfilled, when you assume the state you want to live in, and when you trust the process, life begins to unfold in new and surprising ways. This does not mean life becomes perfect, but it means you stop walking in the dark. You begin to feel like you have a light inside you that helps you move forward with calm and understanding. You begin to see that the world is not something you must fight. It is something you can shape with the power of your awareness. So as we end today's story, remember this: the world outside is a mirror, not a master. It reflects the state you hold inside. When you shift your awareness, your reflection changes. When you choose new thoughts, you plant new seeds. When you feel your wish fulfilled, you open a new path. And when you use your imagination with love, you shape a life that feels more like the one you were meant to live. Everything starts within you. Everything begins in the quiet space of your own mind. And you have the power, just like Neville taught, to choose the feelings, the images, and the states that guide your future. Awareness is your first step. Imagination is your tool. Feeling is your bridge. And your life is the story you create from them. As we end this story, take a moment to breathe and remember the quiet power living inside you. Your awareness shapes your path, your imagination opens new doors, and your feelings guide the world around you. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this touched something in you, hit subscribe and join me for the next story as we keep growing from within, one gentle step at a time.